All right, we're going to move on with a check on some of the headlines in the international press today with Diptyque Laurent. Hi there.
Hi, Kat.
We're going to start off, as we did with the French press review, with Donald Trump and his press conference on Wednesday.
That's right. Let's start with some headlines first of all. Trump settles his accounts. That's what the Belgian paper Le Soir says on its front page. In his first press conference, he didn't exactly renounce his offensive style. L'Orient Le Jour, the Lebanese daily, says Russia is at the center of Trump's first press conference, while The Guardian focuses on fake news, saying Trump fights back over Russia claims.
Indeed, there's a lot of commentary about Trump's behaviour at the press conference as well. Give us some of the reaction.
Well, a wide-ranging array of opinions in the press, Kat. For the New York Times, it was, quote, bombastic, vain and slippery. Trump offered no olive branch to the majority of American voters who opposed him, instead only displaying, quote, petulance and braggadocio. The Washington Post is a bit more tempered in its reaction, saying that Trump was self-assured, combative, and at times tried to sound conciliatory. Despite his 6-month hiatus from meeting with reporters, he was anything but rusty, even noting that he offered kind words to the press that didn't republish the report. And finally, the Moscow Times notes that the allegations in the Trump report have done little to convince even the most ardent Kremlin critics, mainly because it's just so hard to fathom that there was actually a long-term plan to get Trump into the White House, something that nobody in Moscow ever thought possible.
Right, and Donald Trump, as has been very widely reported at this media conference, he accused CNN, the American news network, of publishing fake news. Now, this is something that the Daily Beast is focusing on today.
Well, fake news was what people used to criticize Trump during his campaign. It was really used by critics and the liberal left. They accused Trump of using this to get ahead during the campaign. Yet the Daily Beast notes how it's shifted now, and it's actually the conservative right who are using fake news against Trump critics. And as a result, according to the Daily Beast, they say they're using it to delegitimize the purveyors of real news. So it's sort of the whole concept of fake news has gotten lost in this whole discussion, and some journalists are now calling for it to be completely shelved or banned because its meaning has been manipulated. Most importantly, the Daily Beast highlights how this really signals a new era for the press and the way they interact with Trump, which will inevitably have to change from now on.
I don't know how you'd go about banning people from talking about fake news, but that's a debate for another time. We're also looking today at Donald Trump's nominations for the people that are going to head up his various government departments. Now, one man who got a grilling in the Senate yesterday was Rex Tillerson. He is being put forward as the Secretary of State.
That's right. He's the Secretary of State nominee, and he gave a sort of clearer indication of what direction the Trump presidency would take concerning China. In a confirmation hearing on Wednesday, Rex Tillerson, who of course is a former ExxonMobil chairman, reaffirmed Washington's commitment to Japan if it faces provocation from Beijing over islands in the East China Sea. He said he wants to send China a clearer signal that its island-building activity should stop, comments that will no doubt enrage Beijing. Now, it comes on the same day that China sent its only aircraft carrier through Taiwanese waters. Authorities say the carrier was returning from weapons drills and had to pass through the Taiwanese waters, but many people do see it as a provocation. For its part, China says Taiwan overreacted, but as the China Daily notes, it adds more uncertainty and tension to a situation that's already very tense.
It's been going on for such a long time, hasn't it? This one will continue to watch for a long time still to come, I think. We're going to end with a story that's had a lot of internet users having a bit of a laugh. They've been mocking the Polish foreign minister. It seems that he needs to go back and restudy his atlas.
That's right. It's Diplomacy 101. If you're going to be the foreign minister of any country, you should probably brush up on your knowledge of countries. The Polish foreign minister was at the UN this week to lobby for his country to get a seat at the UN Security Council. And afterwards, he had told reporters that he had met with officials from the Caribbean nations of Belize and San Escobar. The problem is, San Escobar is not a country. It doesn't exist.
I was going to say, it's not one I've heard of.
As you can imagine, it provoked a lot of ridicule online. Some people wondering if he's been watching a little bit too much of Narcos, and he confused it with Pablo Escobar, the famed drug lord.
I see where that's coming from.
But as it turns out, the Polish foreign minister said it was a slip of the tongue. He'd been traveling in and out for 22 hours, and he was actually thinking of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Okay.
But it wasn't
slightly different words, but
no, I don't really
trust
see
him on that one.
the similarity. But it wasn't long before San Escobar got its own tourism Twitter account, its own newspaper, and even created, as you see in this tweet, a military alliance with Belize and Poland, and apparently planned to wage war with St. Kitts and Nevis.
Oh my goodness, watch out, small Caribbean islands. Thanks very much. Diptyque Laurent there, wrapping up today's International Press Review.